they introduced the Live Forever mode to make the users immortal if they want to.
Wing, Alphabet Division, they actually have started a drone service.
And now WhatsApp has announced communities.
But sadly, the top bid for this NFT was only $280. Not 280 million, but 280 single dollars. Hi and welcome to episode 23 of the Tech Review. Every 2 weeks we gather to discuss the hottest topics in science, technology and innovation. On camera 4 today we have Vincent, on camera 3 we have Chris, on camera 2 we have Henrike, and on camera 1 this is me. Hi, I'm Tarek. And of course, you can follow us on all of our social media channels or on our websites, Ideas Engineering IO or FreeTech Academy. And of course, we are always happy to receive your messages or of course your contributions in the chat if you are live with us. Okay, and without any more delays, let's jump into the news. Let's refresh this one last time to see if there are any more links. No. Okay. But today our first article comes from Chris, which is this one about blockchains. There you are.
Blockchains, you're right, yeah. And blockchains have a bridge problem, apparently. So that is really very interesting, I thought, since, well, all the new technologies we are talking about, like in the Tech Review, very often, based, right? I mean, of course, you have all the cryptocurrencies, but you have all the implied developments which actually are being based on blockchains, like the Metaverse and everything. And those blockchains have a bridge problem. Okay, what is a bridge? So a bridge apparently is a construct which is actually being used to convert cryptocurrencies from one into another. For instance, as it is said here, if you have like a blockchain-based, a Bitcoin-based blockchain, you cannot like pay with Dogecoin on this blockchain. So there is something which is called bridge. That means you can wrap up, so to say, one cryptocurrency into another. So into blockchain in this case, and wrap this other blockchain in there. This other cryptocurrency in there. And to do so, of course, you need a little reservoir on this cryptocurrency you want to wrap up the foreign cryptocurrency in. And therefore this construct of a bridge is being used, right? Okay, I'm not an expert, you realize that it's quite difficult to explain, but nonetheless, a bridge is something which converts one cryptocurrency into another. And the thing is that if you actually want to do so, then you need this bridge, and this bridge was an aim of hackers during the last weeks and months, and apparently they were quite successful actually to hack these bridges, and were able actually to take away millions of coins, or to hack, so to say, coins in the value of roughly thousands and hundreds of millions worth US dollars. And this is something which, from my point of view, is well, more or less dangerous, since I can imagine that, especially since we have all these blockchain-based developments nowadays and growing in the future, this is a development which actually should be monitored quite well detailed, very closely, since from my point of view it might endanger the whole spectrum of development which is being based, well, on the blockchains. So maybe you got the point. We can discuss about it a bit.
Yeah, I actually wasn't aware that these things are happening. And of course, having this interchangeability is one of the crucial features. And it's used quite a lot, not only in terms of money laundering, like receiving something in Bitcoin and removing your trace by converting it to other cryptocurrencies. And by this, you're like deleting your identity from from this transaction by simply having it removed or your ID like moved from one blockchain to another. But also because the idea of cryptocurrencies is that you can use it like universally. So no matter if you are preferring having like your Dogecoins or your Bitcoins, it should of course be very simply possible on to interchange this as you do with like the fiat coins, like the fiat currencies. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to look into this, what this is all about with the hackers and how they are using these bridges to actually steal money. And this might destroy or hurt the trust in cryptocurrencies, of course. Yeah, because we are all depending on the blockchain to be undisrupted, uncorruptible, right? So unless there's something like this 51% attack, it should be your money should be secured in the blockchain, unless of course you have like the value drop on the stock exchange.
Yeah, as said, this is exactly why I thought it might be worth actually putting it into the tech review, since, as said, so many developments nowadays, and of course the trust in cryptocurrencies as such, but especially all the metaverse developments being based on blockchains, all this from my point of view might be, I wouldn't say in danger, but at least losing trust if like hacks like these are possible, and apparently they are. So there are like various examples named here in the article, and yeah, I hope that that can somehow be avoided. But my understanding from reading the article was that bridges seem to be, as I said, I'm not the blockchain expert, but since I thought that this is a very severe for many of the developments we are talking about in tech reviews, and well, which is more or less the future and the metaverse and whatever's coming up there. And if that is being endangered by elements, by these bridges, for instance, and hackers, which actually are able to corrupt these elements, these bridges, as part of a blockchain, then, well, of course, the whole development being built on that is endangered as well. And that is something definitely, from my point of view, worth discussing about.
Did you read if this was something like a social engineering attack, or was it actually a code exploit? I just skimmed this.
I thought I read about the social engineering thing, but not only. So there were actually various attacks. It's not just this one bridge. So this one bridge which is being named here is the Ronin bridge, but there were also other bridges, Wormhole as named here, 4.2 million, Qubit bridge, end of January, 320 million, and so on. And as far as I got it, this was hacks actually checking the security of the blockchains and the bridges, and then they have been given back some days later. And so here they really exploited the software vulnerabilities that in the text in the article.
Okay, yeah, this is really scary for everyone who's invested. And yeah, this might blow up. Let's see. Yeah, thanks for that. I actually wasn't aware.
It's interesting that I mean, since it can blow up, it can become big. It's quite interesting that none of us actually have heard of it except for Chris, who stumbled upon this article.
Right.
Like, I would have expected it to be like a bigger thing already.
Yeah, of course.
At this point, then.
Especially if you take a look at.
Maybe we're not part of the right bubble.
Sure.
Apparently.
Right. But especially because there's so much money invested right now in cryptocurrencies, this should be like a global crisis if this is actually true, that there are so many vulnerabilities in the bridges. Yeah.
But I think that this topic already is so complicated in terms of people don't understand crypto, blockchain, and even if they understand that, like the basis of it, to understand why now things like NFTs are so going so viral, and this market is tripling and quadrupling. Is that like 4?
Yeah,
doesn't matter. However, so because I think that's the estimation for that market right now. Anyways, what I want to say is that this market is extremely volatile, and it goes up and down, and then you hear every other day like, oh, crypto just fell by I don't know how many percent, like so much more than regular stock would go, probably, except for pink sheets maybe. And I think that people who do not understand how crucial or how critical this hit on this technology is, just would understand it as, just another day in crypto. It's the way it is in crypto,
right.
It goes up and down and nobody knows.
Right. Yeah. But I mean,
but this makes it even more dangerous and severe then, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So as said, also I didn't really understand the whole thing behind that, but what I did understand is exactly the point you mentioned, that it is a severe damage of the blockchain security, and that of course there are implications. As said, every development which is being based on that might be endangered. And as said, it's not just a social engineering thing. So as named here in this one blockchain, the Ronin chain, but the others, that was really a software exploited, right? So there were really, like, so to say, techie hackers in the background who really endangered, so to say, and exploited the blockchain. So not really secure, the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that. And let's jump to the next one, which will be Henrike with Metaverse.
Okay, yet another Metaverse article. This one is about Somnium Space, another Metaverse version. They introduce or work on the Live Forever mode to make the users immortal if they want to. They want to save movements and conversations, and out of that create your AI duplicate in Somnium. The goal kind of is that people, like if your family members or friends then interact with your duplicate in the AR, they will not notice that it's an AI for like 10 minutes at least before it kind of is apparent to them that it's not you, but an AI. And they mention a study in the article from 2020 that says that VR technology can already identify a person out of a group of 500 people with 95% accuracy after only 5 minutes of tracking a person's movements. So based on your movements and how you interact with others, you can be already identified like with such big accuracy. And they also mentioned that Somnium invested in Tesla Suit. I think we spoke about Tesla Suit a couple of months ago here as well. The full body haptic suit. And with that one, they do not give the person wearing it like the impression of human touch and stuff, but also collect even more data like cardio and stress level, etc., that can also then go into their Live Forever mode algorithm. And they say they will only collect the data of those who pay for it. So it's by default, it's not activated. But if you decide, I want to pay for it and I want that you guys collect the data and I can create my AI out of it, then they will do it. But they will only, I think, when you are on your land within Somnium space, like in your part that belongs to you, then they will record the stuff. And kind of also one remark in this interview was that, yeah, it's kind of a scary thought that a company will have so much of your personal data, etc. Like, duh, it is. But they say like, well, yeah, we do not care like who you are. We do not want to know your name or anything. We do not collect your data for advertising purposes, like Meta, for instance, or others. They're emphasizing the decentralized setup of it all, and that you have to pay for it, like it's your decision that you want to do it. But when it comes to all the ethical questions in the background, like what happens, like if you're dead and your immortal duplicate is in Somnium space, and then your children are like, what the heck, this is scary, I do not want that. What happens then? He just said like, yeah, that's questions we're discussing with our lawyers right now. Like they do not know, in fact. So and I think one of the last comments was they hope that users will feel comfortable giving over limitless amounts of data to the company for analysis. I was like, yeah, who would actually feel comfortable? Like, I don't think that's the right word to use here. Like willing to do so, but it's still kind of a scary thought, all of it. I don't think it's the first time we talk about this immortal issue in Metaverse, but yeah, they now want to make it happen.
Yeah, it's really scary, and we often say that the news that we are talking about are kind of science fiction-y, right? And feels like we are now there where we always, I think last time we had this discussion about if this is considered science fiction or not. But in this particular case, it's like you're telling the story, the exact plot of Westworld, right? So without, I don't want to spoil the story of Westworld, but that's kind of the thing. Did anyone see Westworld?
No, I haven't. But funnily enough, in this article, they also mention other science fiction stories that you can easily relate it to, like other plots that are quite similar to what they try to do. Because it's also because the initial, like why this guy from Somnium wants to do it is because his dad passed away like too soon and all of a sudden. And he was like, well, too bad that I cannot, you know, like my children won't be able to interact with him or get to know him. And that kind of sparked his wish of creating like a duplicate of his father. And yeah.
No, but really, it's amazing. From the technical point of view, this is inevitable, right? That we try to do this. And then in the next years, we are going to check if it's ethically okay and desirable to create these virtual interpretations from you as a being, from your like psychological characteristics and the patterns and your vital signs and these things. Yeah, but it's always this way, and I'm really curious to see if this will be a thing, or if at some point of time we say like cloning humans is forbidden. It's like cloning a human's personality in AI might be forbidden or something like that, because we don't want to see this. Yeah, and it's I mean, sorry. No, please go ahead.
No, I don't want to interrupt. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to say, nevertheless, we are going to see these experiments until it is forbidden. And maybe even if it's forbidden, there might be something like a black market of virtual clones of people. Because as Henrike said, there might be these cases where people say, I lost a loved one and I want to have this virtual being as a replacement, because I need this to cope with my grief or something like that, and then having like black market VR people walking around.
I wanted to add that this cloning thing actually is a good idea, or a good thought about this, because I mean, identity theft is something that I think is very distant to all of us. I mean, if somebody steals your credit card, or let's say your license plate or something like that, yes. But I mean, it's called identity theft, but for real, it's not really, you know, stealing your identity. It's stealing a part of it, maybe. But I mean, looking at this future world with avatars as the core communication between each other and also as core of access. I mean, this could totally be leading to leading to some kind of new kind of identity theft, because I mean, stealing your avatar is so much easier than stealing your identity in real life, obviously. And I mean, I from our technical point of view today, you need a key and a password and everything to log into your wallet, for example, and all of that stuff. But this will change. And I'm sure that people will find a way, or even maybe want a way, where they just log into their avatar, because it is so unique that why would you need another type of, certification or anything to go and do whatever you want to do. So this identity theft could be even more crucial than in real world, because in real world, well, it's pretty easy to, state your case that you're obviously the person and not the imposter. But, it's much harder. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and then especially like the quality aspect that comes to it, right? When they already say that you can identify someone with 95% accuracy only from tracking 5 minutes of how they move and behave, etc. And then thinking about how many data they are going to collect over a longer period of time. And like having the goal like that at least for 10 minutes, no one should realize it's an AI and not the real person, and how that will be, because it's sometimes already funny now if you meet someone on the street and you're like, oh, wait, that person looks like, I don't know, Vincent, or I heard a voice and I thought it's you, and turned around, it was someone else, like what that does with us already in that scenario. And then if you have it like virtually and you cannot really tell anymore. Funny thought, kind of.
Right.
Yeah. Sounds also a little bit like a scam thing. I mean, like giving all your data, and for this very specific purpose. I mean, we had these platforms, these AI platforms, which do exactly what Insomnia does, so that they recreate a person's identity and give actually the chance for their family members after they have passed away to meet them again. So, but here it's one step further, right? As you have described, you have like this specific feature, then you have the VR identification, so which is a common thing in VR, that you are actually more easy, actually, or it's easier to identify yourself just by your movements and everything, because you have so much more data in VR than just like by typing on 2D desktop. But now this is all coming together, and as you said, Vincent, now you have like more or less 100% profile of your identity. And I mean, think of what's possible with that. I mean, for instance, you could manipulate people in a way which is not imaginable nowadays, right? So if your family members actually get into this whatever kind of metaverse and meet you after you have gone, and then you tell them whatever, good things, bad things, and who controls this avatar? Maybe it is you. Maybe the AI really is so much authentical that it really behaves like you. But maybe there's also other influences, right? So somebody who actually is looking for advantage in letting the avatar act in a specific way to his family members left behind, and tell them whatever, give me all your money, or something like that. I mean, broad spectrum of manipulation possible there.
Yeah, I will have my clone attend all the meetings that I don't want to go to.
Yeah, and the second thing, of course, is it's very specific, right? So I mean, this metaverse, once again, another metaverse, but this seems to be a very specific use case then for this. So apparently it's a VR metaverse. Is there also other use cases like what games or some kind of social economics or crypto economics or something, or creating things, selling things, buying things, or is it really just this one use case? So that's also interesting questions. So probably it's not part of this article, but would be also interesting to know if that is the only case, or if there's other use cases, or if that is just a little part of the spectrum which they offer.
Right. Okay, yeah, let's jump to the next one. This one would be Vincent with WhatsApp.
Yeah, please. Very, very interesting. I brought it with me last time already. It was a rumor back then. And now WhatsApp has announced communities. And communities is a new way to communicate with people you maybe want to talk with, but you don't want to talk with, privately maybe, but still they're part of your community. And I think, again, I mentioned it already last time, but WhatsApp really saw a dent being taken away through Telegram. And because they, on the one hand, are part of Meta, and, people who use Telegram usually really favor that Telegram is not part of a big corporate, targeted at making profits or a lot of profits. But yeah, communities now brings the key feature of what people liked about Telegram, that you could be part of a group or part of a community talking to each other without having everybody invite you. They're bringing it to WhatsApp, and it's a bit different. I think it is much smarter, actually, because what they do is that they create a community, and within this community, you can create chats, you can create groups. So it's a bit like Slack, maybe, where you have all these different chats under one community. We don't know what's going to happen in the future with Meta and Slack, but please get back to me if I'm right about this purchase. We'll see. Anyways, there is a video you can watch. We don't have to watch it now, but because I think the screenshots describe everything. So you can enter a community, let's say the one of your building. That's the example that's WhatsApp using. And then there are different groups for different things you can be part of, the market probably, just as the video is showing, but you don't want to probably go and play football with them because you don't like sports, so you don't join that group. Or, you don't want to help your neighbors moving, because I'm pretty sure that's the next example. Well, you skip that group as well, but then having lunch with them together is, again, great. So you enter that group. It's really, really, really diverse. It's really cool. I think it brings a lot of this broader, not one-to-one communication to WhatsApp, which I think it lacked in the past. One bigger problem, but this is the same problem as Telegram still, is that maybe you want to be anonymous entering those communities, but obviously you're entering with your number, you're entering just as Telegram, by the way, you're entering with your avatar just as with Telegram. So this is something that still is a bit, under critique, because maybe you want to enter groups and not let everybody know that you are Vincent from next door. But on the other hand, there are a lot of groups where you probably don't care about that. So not really a big point, maybe. But it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So who's actually creating those communities then?
You can create any community.
One? Okay.
Yeah, you can create any community, and within you can create like groups, again, or chats.
Yeah.
And if someone from my contact list creates a community, I see that and I can join if I want to, or like how can I also see communities for people I'm not, I do not have the number on my phone yet.
So it's not really stated there, but as far as I understood the feature, it can be an open community or a private community, just as on Telegram, where you can, search for communities and you either find one or you don't. I think the key message here is that now you can really share links to communities and enter those communities without knowing anybody. So I think we all know on Reddit, when we scroll through whatever Reddit we're scrolling through, and you have, say, a Discord or a Telegram chat where the same topic is discussed, we probably see that there too, and you click on the link and you're automatically invited. And that is, I think, the key feature WhatsApp wanted to bring to WhatsApp. so that WhatsApp is not losing this fight in terms of, hey, we're not only a one-to-one chat group, we're more. Plus, there's another big point is that especially through the conflict with Russia, the war between Russia and Ukraine, you saw that people started to share things in private groups, or companies started to, not only with Russia, but companies basically started to use broadcast and broadcast lists to, communicate to a lot of people the same stuff. And it wasn't meant for that because it is much more private. And now they brought communities into the app so that also commercial use has now its place. And also sharing content to more than one or more than 6, I think that's the limit right now, has its own place, so that the user understands that there is a distinction between, hey, this is a non-certified news article of a pro-Russian website that my friend shared, to, okay, I'm in a community that probably is a bit pro-Russian, so there's this link, it got shared. And I understand that this is different to my distant friend from this party once shared it with me.
Yeah, I think at the end, this feature might actually be then the feature that enables WhatsApp to collect all users who want to stay in like the WhatsApp sphere without having to go to Facebook groups or maybe even Telegram to use this feature. And the only people who will remain on Telegram are those who are concerned with privacy and who dislike the Meta corporation and do not want to have any of their apps on their phone. Yeah.
I think that Telegram has a bit more options though. So Telegram is really big in bots. They just launched an update, I think today, about how bots act in chats. And this is something WhatsApp does not have that much yet. And so Telegram is easier to use for bigger groups who like to, do a lot of automated functionalities. But again, this is something that I think only a few really big niches are using and not really the whole community.
Yeah, super interesting. And at the end, I think all of these, it's really interesting to see how all of these messengers and networks are growing together by duplicating the other most important features, right? And we see this on Snapchat and on TikTok and Facebook, and kind of everyone merges to the same feature set. And I'm not 100% sure if this is always a good thing, because usually you also enjoy the simplicity of an app and have this one purpose and use it for this particular purpose. And for example, Microsoft Teams is a very, very powerful tool. But from my point of view, it has too many features. And usually when I use Microsoft Teams, I lose like track about all the groups and chats and everything. And sometimes I wish that it would be like a more simple app and concentrate on like one feature so that I'm not always lost in all the information. And so I'm not sure if I will like having this new added complexity in WhatsApp, because right now I really enjoy that it's simply Messenger, and I open it up and I see the messages. I have multiple chats. That's it. Yeah. But let's see. I mean, they obviously have an idea of what they are going towards. Chris?
I mean, complexity is okay as long as you can manage it, right? So this is exactly the problem in Teams. You have so many like chats and channels and everything. And sometimes you have like important information in one of these chats and channels, but later on, after a week or 4 weeks or so, when you think about that and you remember, there was something that was really important, and then try to find it again, it's almost impossible.
Right.
You always need this pioneer to change the business. I mean, look at, it is really powerful to have all in one hand. I mean, look at Meta. Meta has Facebook Messenger, which is now or not now, since I think already a few years now, a standalone messaging app, because Meta knows that a lot of people use WhatsApp for messaging. And then they have Instagram, and Instagram also told us that they're doubling down on messaging because people like to message there. And you also see that there are features growing on Instagram, like best friends and specific lists. So you kind of have communities there too, or let's say groups maybe. And then there's WhatsApp. So Meta definitely knows its stuff when it comes to messaging, and that is really powerful. But this is exactly as Tarek, as you're saying it, it's really dangerous because they all grow into the same direction and have a lot of complexity, and it's brought everywhere. Chris, just as you said, I mean, look at the rollout of this crazy rollout of stories we had years ago, because Meta owned all these companies and said, well, let's bring it to all of them at once. And all of these apps suddenly had this. And then there's always this pioneer like Telegram changing the business, but you need that. And I think that's the danger with these big companies and corporations, that they undermine new ideas coming up. And I'm not 100% sure, please stop me if that's wrong, but I think Telegram at least started out as a non-profit organization, and that really helped.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, I have a very strong opinion on messaging. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I think it's probably one of the most important apps, or the category of messaging apps is one of the most important apps that we all have on our phones. If our tech review is valuable for you, please give us feedback with a like or a comment. That would help us tremendously, and it wouldn't cost you anything. And if you don't want to miss the next episode, just click on the subscribe button. And now, back to the news. Okay, yeah, let's jump to the next one. This one is mine. It's TikTok news. And the topic is that TikTok has an own AR development platform. And this one is not that new. They launched this AR development platform called where is it? Effect House. Yeah. And they launched it. They launched it, I think, last year. But nevertheless, they are now moving closer to this realm of Snapchat and Meta when it comes to effect libraries. And basically, so far, I think Snapchat was like the big player of this option of creating these effects by yourself. And it was already available for a closed beta for 450 selected creators. And these created effects so far have already been used in 1.5 billion videos with 600 billion views globally. So it's already heavily used. And so it looks like a great success, and they do not have to create like only their own effects. And the Effect House beta will now be open for all creators. That's why it's newsworthy. And guess who already downloaded the development kit? Because I'm really excited to look how the usability is, and if you actually need to be a developer to build something like that, or if like every 13-year-old TikTok enthusiast will be able to just jump in and create effects like that. And the one other aspect that is it's worthy to mention is that, of course, there will be community guidelines, or there already exist community guidelines for what effects are okay to develop. For example, just forbidden to promote colorism or negative stereotypes, or something like promotion of cosmetic surgery, right? Or mocking someone else's appearance, or these things, which should be kind of common sense. But at the same time, there are already so many effects in TikTok's library that use something like beauty filters, right? Making me slimmer, or remove like things on my skin, or these things, or make my lips more beautiful. I don't know. But this is kind of what they are forbidding with promotion of plastic surgery, for example. So let's see how they will actually moderate this, because these beauty filters, I think they are the most popular filters on TikTok, because they are so easy to use and everyone wants to look beautiful on video. And so I'm not 100% sure if they will revisit their own guidelines, or if they will touch community produced content or filters in a different way than their own filters. Yeah, but especially because TikTok is now like the biggest player in this social media video creation realm, I think this is another big step for enabling content creators to be really, really creative, not only with their content, but also with the effects. Yeah.
I think what's really, really, really dangerous, I think that's the most dangerous thing for Snapchat, because Snapchat is so focused on AR. I mean, they have this glass company doing exactly that. And they always have been really big in terms of, hey, we're using AR and our filters are better for creators and they're also better for ad, actually. I mean, look at their investors call. They always promote how much better snaps perform when filters and AR techniques are used. And now there's TikTok, and TikTok, I mean, basically is designed for replication. I mean, think of the old age about Instagram and Facebook, when people did this, took the same photo, applied the same effects and edit whatever. It was a bad thing. And then TikTok came and changed the game entirely. And now the whole platform is about replicating what other people are doing. And with that, it becomes really dangerous for Snapchat, because if you're coming to a platform to replicate something that other people have created, it is so much more powerful than just, you know, showing off the effect somebody created and that's it. And you don't replicate it, because Snapchat is a one-way platform. I know that would disagree probably in terms of you can participate on Spotlight, but still, it is much more one-way than Snapchat than TikTok is. So I think this is TikTok's way of launching a super aggressive attack against Snapchat.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that you refer to it as the old age, which is something not even 10 years ago. So
ancient.
Yeah. No, but also coming back to your comment, Tarek, with the beauty filter and stuff, I mean, it would be quite progressive if they would stick to the guideline they created and, you know, really forbid these things. But sadly enough, I don't think that will happen, because, as you mentioned, it's the most popular filter on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it. So it would be great, but I doubt it that they will stick to it.
Right. Okay. Let's jump to the next one, because, as always, we are so invested in the discussion that we are not able to go through it. Oh yeah, right. And there was another link from Chris. Let's pull this one, because for some reason it did not reach the tool. Wait, I had it in here.
Enrique, I hope that this tool is reshuffling every card after the one shown, because the next one is you with Elon Musk and Twitter. And I added the same link, so I hope it reshuffles.
Okay. So, Chris.
Yeah, this one I liked a lot. It's about Wing, Alphabet Division, and they actually have started a drone service in Dallas and the environment there. And that is really cool, since they, from now on, from April on, 7th of April, they deliver like lots of things of everyday's life, right? Starting with sushi, bubble tea, as they name it here, smoothies, products, merchants, from merchants in the shopping center, medical health, everything you need, which actually can be packed into a little parcel, put onto a drone, and then sent to you directly, right? Airways. And this is quite cool. I mean, this year they have or last year actually, they had more than 100,000 deliveries. So it's quite a number, I think. And even until now, they have, as they say, 200,000 real deliveries to date. And I mean, this is really quite striking, right? That the drone service is really, people like it, that people use it, and that it is so successful. So the packages actually should not be heavier than more than 1.5 kilograms, and the drone itself is able to carry it like in a round trip of 10 kilometers. So also that quite a way. And they have actually started that, I think, in 2019 or so in Australia. And now they have shifted that to, as said, the US. the Dallas area. And this is very important for them because before that, it was actually being used in smaller communities, right? So the houses and the villages were a little bit like flocked over the country. And now with the city launch, the whole thing, of course, is a big deal. The houses are being closer to each other. The community is bigger. And yeah, so there's lots of potential for this new service. Also part of the future, also something, Tarek, you might call, it have called science fiction in the past, and now it's coming to life.
Right. And I'm still curious to see, especially in Germany, because everything is so restricted in Germany, if this will be kind of possible. And one thing that I also learned now while I'm traveling in the US, there are so many restrictions regarding flying drones, and there are so many areas where people or where the community do not want like private people to have drones flying around. And so I'm really skeptical if something like drone deliveries in urban areas will be a thing in the future, because right now it feels like drones are unwanted. Yeah. And of course, it would be very practical to avoid having everything delivered by car, because it's very, very like slow and cumbersome. And a fleet of drones flying around, having like these small fast deliveries would be very advantageous. But I'm really skeptical if this will be a thing, because drones are forbidden in most places. Yeah.
I think so. We can answer this now, but I would be really interested in seeing why Amazon canceled their drone program, because they used to have it. They canceled it quite some time ago, and it was stuff like regulations and communities, and especially aerospace. You cannot fly through, but the US and Australia are, I think, perfect for these kinds of technology. In Europe, it's a bit different because Europe is so much smaller and not designed for big streets and cars and a lot of traffic. But there, it seems like a great idea. And looking at autonomous cars, an autonomous drone, of course, obviously is so much better. One very stupid question I have, though, besides that, why Amazon killed their program, is what Alphabet exactly is doing there. Like, why Alphabet? I get, but this is so off topic that I don't know.
Because they can.
Yeah, and that sadly, that is pretty sure that's the answer. Yeah.
Yeah, but the idea is cool. And yeah, probably it's not there in the market and delivering. This is not meant for big cities, right? This, as you said, this is more for rural environments, little villages, maybe also like town-like villages, if you want to call it like that. But the thing is that, as we can see it here, the houses are largely distributed, right? And this is probably the key. So there is not like big skyscrapers or something. It's just like one house, and this is probably the formula for success for this whole delivery service via drones. Otherwise, it would be difficult to deliver that number 154 on the left-hand side, so that might be more difficult.
Yeah, I guess this is exactly the answer, that densely populated areas can be efficiently delivered by like a delivery truck and a delivery driver. But having like this driver have to drive an hour into a rural area to deliver one package is very bad. And for this particular use case, you probably will send a drone, right? So this might exactly be the use case for drones. Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe fast delivery, also something, because as far as I understand, or I don't know actually, but a drone that is autonomous would fly any day, any night. So with the right supply setup, this drone is much, much faster. And looking at, say, people who either are okay with the top-up price, or say companies which just need stuff like right away. This could be probably a market because it's much faster.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is then, let's see, Enrique with Elon Musk.
But I think we can summarize our articles and put them together because it's about the same topic. Also, like following up on last TechReview's news that Elon got 9-point-something% of Twitter shares. He now made the offer last Thursday to buy 100% of Twitter. And he said that if the offer is not accepted, he needs to reconsider his position as a shareholder in total, but also said in a recent TED Talk last week that he has a plan B that he didn't want to share anything about at this point. But it's just simply going to be interesting to see how this evolves over the next days or weeks. The reason why he made the offer, he kind of not really said a lot about it, but he just mentioned that he believes that Twitter being the platform for free speech around the globe, and he wants to enable it, or like, that it has its full potential and really becomes this place of free speech. It's not a move to make money, he says. It's more about like also getting trust back and making the algorithm open source, for instance, and make it available for everyone. Also, this new editing feature that Twitter is also actually working on right now. He also mentioned that once more, that this is also crucial, that you can see when someone edited their tweet or whatever, so that it's visible that it's not the original one anymore, and you cannot do something behind the scenes, but it's visible and all of that. So there in the TED Talk, I don't know if you've seen that one. In the article, they link to the TED Talk as well, I think, or at least to another article, which then leads to the TED Talk. It's like a rabbit hole. But he was also asked about, how about speech platforms being controlled by single individuals? Isn't that dangerous, etc.? And kind of also pointing to Zuckerberg owning Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, with their ownership structure that allows even Mark Zuckerberg the 14th to control all of it, which is in fact true. It's not something that he aims to do with Twitter, so he ruled that one out. But it's interesting to see how this goes now, like what Twitter's response will be, how they will react, and what's his plan B in the end.
For one reason, I really don't like this development, because we saw a similar discussion when Donald Trump was kind of censored in his use of Twitter, because his content was very misleading, and we call it like fake news and distribution lies. And so from at least my perspective, it was a good move to restrict his access to this platform of Twitter, even though it is kind of a censorship. But then it was very clear what Donald Trump was doing. Now that Elon Musk is kind of saying the same thing, that this power of a single social network or communication platform is handled badly, and he will start fighting it or changing it, it kind of revisits this point where we had to, or we as a society or Twitter had to restrict Donald Trump. And then it's the question if this was in fact a bad thing or the wrong thing to do, and if the way that censorship or moderation of these platforms is handled is correct in the way it is done right now or not. And Donald Trump, he created like his own truth network, right? His own messaging or communication platform. And this seems to be the course that we are going, that now everyone creates their own bubble or their own communication platform.
Yeah, maybe two remarks to that, because that was also mentioned in the TED Talk. Like, he said that, first of all, like he's not a fan of like banning people completely from the platform, but rather give them like a timeout or whatever, as a measure of stopping them from this. Also saying like free speech in line with the law, like with, but then again, like how do you moderate it? How do you control it? And where's the line? Who decides when it's like those edge cases? Still, I don't think he also mentioned he doesn't have all the answers now, but this is something how he envisions it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. But Vincent, you wanted to say something.
No, I just wanted to add that I think to prove that this is not something to make money off, he said that, and this is something he did before actually a few times, saying it, not actually doing it, but he said that he's going to take the company private. So there are no shareholders, or there are, but I mean, for example, Axel Springer has the same setup at the moment, not as many looking at dividends and looking at the money in the end, and more shareholders who share the vision and invest because this is what they want to do in the future. And also the company would be extremely autonomous, looking at things like ads, for example, on Twitter. I mean, Twitter is reliant on ad money, and in that case, it would be much more satellite to effects, say, on the ad market, and that people spend money there. And I think his plan B, I mean, there is this rumor of him doing that, saying that he has this plan B to signal that he will just sell his shares, which in the end would make him a lot of money, because Twitter shares went up by, I think, up to 30% after his announcement and after his offer and everything. So, I mean, he invested around $3 billion, $3 billion in the end in these shares, and with them going up a quarter, it's close to $1 billion he made there then. So this plan B actually could be quite interesting. Also, Twitter is really scared, I think, of this happening, because in that case, when if Musk leaves this platform, he probably will also leave as a protagonist on there, which will then, this is what people are scared of, I don't know if this actually will happen, but will then result in Twitter shares dropping badly. And that, of course, through the structure of being a public company, publicly traded, will of course lead to the result that dumping or rejecting Musk's offer will hurt the company significantly. So I think that right now this is really dangerous. And I think the only countermeasure they can make is splitting shares. So, and selling a lot of Twitter shares so that Musk is not the only shareholder out there.
Right. And you said you had kind of like the same article, or what was?
I had the same, and then one more. What exactly is meant by free speech? But Henrique mentioned, and you, that the Donald Trump example, but is the perfect example, because this is exactly what. I mean, Henrique's, I think it's also mentioned in your article that this actually is the best example for Musk to say, well, there is a difference between blocking illegal content and content you don't like.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. If, but still, I will follow Elon Musk on whatever the network he's on, because his content is always very, very good. Okay.
But also very controversial. I mean, this is exactly the question: is the free speech Musk is envisioning free speech? Because I mean, he also challenged Vladimir Putin to a fist fight about the destiny of Ukraine, and even though we all know this is a joke, the question still stands: well, is this the type of communication platform you want to be on. And I mean, this tweet is still up, so obviously it's a very legal tweet and a very legal thing to do. But still, if this is the destiny of your communications platform, the one you probably maybe get your news from, you follow your favorite creators to see what they're doing, get up updates on niche, I don't know. The question is this maybe just one more step too far? I mean, it's the same with, I don't want to start with this topic again, but it's the same discussion with Telegram and its very unmoderated communities feature, which is different on WhatsApp now.
Right.
But
okay.
Is
Chris?
there really well, a clear answer on that, or measurement, or whatever you want to call it? I mean, free speech, what is free speech, right? So you name it, or you said it. So does free speech end where illegal things actually start, the illegal limit or border, or does free speech actually end if on the other side somebody just don't like what you say? And who is somebody, right? So that is not a homogeneous group. So it doesn't matter what you say. There's always people who like it and who don't like it. And so and then sometimes people who don't like what you say, maybe they are just majority, and then they say, yeah, this is, well, we don't like it and it's immoral or whatever. So free speech is not accepted any longer if something like that comes out. But maybe you are right, at least from your point you are right, but maybe also from other people's point you are right, which maybe might be minority, but it doesn't mean that they are like not on the right side, on the right track. So also a majority can be on the wrong track with their opinion. We have that very often in history. And if they say, so this is something we don't want because this does not meet our idea of free speech, then we just cut it off, and then you have censorship. So I don't think that this answer is to be, or this question is to be answered clearly in whatever kind of way. There is no wrong, there is no right. In this discussion, from my point of view, there's only a gray zone, right? So only something in between. And of course, we see the limits, we see the borders when it gets illegal. Yeah, I'm with that. But all the rest should be more or less, at least, parts of free speech. So from that point of view, I understand Musk's motivation. But of course, it has the danger that he uses his power, which he then might have in Twitter, for other purposes, other reasons. And well, as Tarek, as you said, let's see what happens, right? So, and then we can judge, or now we can speculate, and in 1 month, 2 months, half year's time, we can tell more about it and maybe see in what direction the whole thing goes. Difficult topic.
Right. So I will quickly load my last article. And I really love this because Jack Dorsey's first tweet was sold as an NFT for $2.9 million last year. Jack Dorsey is, of course, the founder of Twitter, as you probably know. And the buyer now wants to resell this NFT, and he listed it for $48 million, I think. But sadly, the top bid for this NFT was only $280. Not 280 million, but 280 single dollars. And this is really, I mean, it's sad for the person who bought this NFT or tries to sell this NFT, but really interesting for everyone who's observing this NFT market. And that's the reason why I think this article is really newsworthy, because we are constantly speculating if NFTs are only a hype or a bubble that will burst, or if it will become the next big thing, right, as it is promised. And this concrete example shows that digital collectibles might not necessarily become more valuable over time as you expected from like regular physical collectibles. And this is, of course, right now only one case that we are observing, But if this happens now regularly, then investors will stop buying NFTs because there are obviously no ROIs, right? They are buying the stuff and then they own this entry on the blockchain without being able to do anything without it and not being able to resell it for profit. And this is exactly the promise that you make when you buy like NFTs. They are rare and so they will increase in value. And so I'm really closely observing if this will be now a pattern that people who are buying NFTs, then that's it, you own it. Yeah, and this is really creepy if you buy like for $1 million something and then it's basically worth nothing because nobody is willing to pay you anything for it, or like $280. Yeah, so that's it.
One question I have there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, please go ahead.
One more question I have there is if this is just not bad luck, because I mean, there are a lot of collectibles which probably are very hyped and then they're just lose value. I mean, we can see that probably with technology you can collect. I mean, think about the first Macintosh or the Apple II or iPhone or whatever. It is extremely hyped. And now, I mean, when you try to buy a Macintosh, it's incredibly expensive, but this is also due to Apple's hype and success on the market. And I can totally see a world where this just gets, you know, I mean, look at, say, the first PlayStation or the first Atari. I mean, Atari is a company that's not non-existing any longer. And this may be a collectible for some, but for a lot of people, it's just plastic. So it maybe this NFT, I don't want to say the NFT market is a great market. I'm not a big fan of NFTs and trading them and all of that, but minting stuff you think is valuable and stuff, it doesn't matter. What I think though is that this maybe is just bad luck because nobody cares. Nobody cares about that tweet. And it is the same with collectibles. There are collectibles which stay and some collectibles are just a phase and they just fade away, but still they're all part of the same group collectibles, and it's just there's some that are interesting and some stupid monkeys nobody will care about in a year.
Right. I mean, of course, if you see those NFTs are literally collectibles and you want to collect them and own them, then of course go ahead. But my speculation is that most people who are investing millions into NFTs, they are like literally investing. And usually when you invest, if you invest in something,
want to flip them.
Right, yeah. you expect some form of return and outcome and profit. And this might not be the case. Yeah. And this might cause this market to collapse. Because the collectible itself is literally an entry in the blockchain. You do not really own something. You don't have anything in your hand. Yeah, but this was my personal favorite.
Okay, but
yes.
It also depends a little bit on the use case then, right? So what is the collectible, right? Is it something which is available in the internet for everybody? So, okay, you own it, but who cares? Or is it connected with some unique digital asset, right? Like in a game or so, you have like a variable board which is more or less unique and only you have it, and it's being connected with an NFT, and then you can sell it, and then somebody else has it, like a real real variable, right? So that is something where the uniqueness makes the difference. And I think here with this tweet, I mean, we have a tweet, you can have a look at it. I don't know, probably it's you can have a look at it whenever you want, wherever you want. So that is not something which has this uniqueness. And if you own it or not, nobody cares. As you said, then it's just an entry in the database, which is absolutely not interesting for anybody.
Yeah.
But if something unique asset, some unique value actually is connected behind the NFT, or the other use case, for instance, NFT as an entry pass or something, right? So there it might make sense, questionable, but it works more or less, right? So you only get an entry to the party or whatever, virtual party, if you have like an NFT as an entry pass, otherwise you wouldn't get in. So that might have some kind of value then, but that's different to to this specific case.
Yeah, of course, you're right. If this NFT actually is an item that you can use for something, then of course it is as valuable as the item that you would buy without the blockchain itself. And this will of course keep being value, because gamers or VR content creators, they will be able to use this. In this particular case, of course, the example was this digital collectible, which is an arbitrary entry of a physical thing. Weird that I call the tweet a physical thing, but yeah, it's not like connected to some real thing that you can do with it. And so maybe, of course, I have to call this like a relative term. So if we talk about these real life digital collectibles like tweets, in comparison to digital assets in games, where NFTs might actually make sense in a practical sense. Yeah, and so maybe the market will shift and will concentrate or will move to these things that you can actually utilize for some use case. But digital art, which is only there to own and not doing anything with it, might die if this return of invest will not come to fruition. Okay, yeah, then that's a good end for the session. We are already 12 minutes over, but as always, I thank you for all the nice content, the articles. I'm always looking forward to this. And next time I will be back in Berlin, then the infrastructure will be more stable again. So I wish you a great Tuesday afternoon, I think. Is it Tuesday? For me, it's Tuesday in the morning.
Not afternoon, though.
Okay. So thank you again and see you next time.